we going
Ah,
further, why don't you have your jersey in the background?
it's been a very tough past couple of weeks, bro. I don't wanna lie, you know. I thought maybe the jerseys were giving me and my team very bad luck. So I'm trying something else new. Maybe we'll see a difference after this international break. And I can see your Tottenham jersey is hanging there proudly.
Proudly, and on top of the league table as we speak. But then we only know it's only for the meantime. We've been there before.
Well, I'm going to clip that part. Then it'll go viral.
Vibes, 263, hometown chilling, steaks I'm grilling, melanin dripping, smoking I'm trippy, the hookah, the shorty with the big ass twerking, got the city on lock. You need me type of pockets, make a video thought, turn a wife into a hoe, I done seen it a lot, and you ain't got no money, Uncle Phil hit the dot, blah blah hit the spot.
How's it going, people? We're back again with another episode of the First Two Show, and as always, I'm with my main Adrian. What's going on, bro?
What's up, Junior? How you doing? Before we going further, why don't you have your jersey in the background?
It's been a very tough past couple of weeks, bro. I don't wanna lie, you know. I thought maybe the jerseys were giving me and my team very bad luck. So I'm trying something else new. Maybe we'll see a difference after this international break. And I can see your Tottenham jersey is hanging there proudly.
Proudly, and on top of the league table as we speak. But then we only know it's only for the meantime. We've been there before.
Well, I'm going to clip that part. Then it'll go viral.
Yeah.
Yes. So Adrian.
Yes, sir.
All things football today, as always. And I think, you know, based on the past couple of days, there's only one place where we can start, and that is United. Ronaldo sealing that sensational move back to Old Trafford. What's your take? Did you see this one coming, or were you just as surprised as I was?
I think I was just as surprised as Man U fans themselves. The day before, we had rumors that he could potentially move to the other side of the city, the blue half of the city. And I saw some Man U fans coming on Twitter saying, "Oh, this time Messi is the GOAT," you know. And then finally, the next day, George Mendes did this thing, secured a move for Ronaldo to Old Trafford. You know, I feel like ultimately didn't quite work out as well as he would have wanted with Juventus. He went there with one ambition to try and deliver the elusive Champions League, and in the end, it wasn't to be. But then I feel like at some point we all wanted him to return to Man United. I'm not sure if it's just me, but then at some point I wanted him to return. It's nice, you know. Drogba came back for Chelsea. Now it's Ronaldo to United.
Wait. Are you trying to compare DJ Drogba to Ronaldo?
No.
Oh, you're just drawing parallels as far as, you know, their legacies in their clubs.
In their clubs, you know, even Thierry came back, even if it was just for half a season, you know.
No, it was like a month.
Whatever the case may be, it didn't even make out. But then, it's nice to have him back. It's good for the Premier League. It's good for Man United, and it's exciting times.
Yeah, that's very true. I can't really say that I didn't see this one coming, but, you know, something that really surprised me, like you were saying, were the rumors which were linking him to the other side of Manchester. Yeah. You know, I never saw it happening, even though, you know, even the main man in Fabrizio Romano, or, you know, even when he was tweeting, I never actually saw the move happening because of quite a number of factors. One, I feel like Ronaldo as a person, he's got too much respect for, you know, for the United faithful and for his own legacy, because I feel like that would tarnish his own legacy at Manchester United. Number two, Ronaldo and Pep don't really seem like the best fit. You know, those guys have got their past episodes in Spain, you know, dating back to their Barcelona versus Real Madrid days, you know, and even as far as character-wise, you know, I don't feel like Ronaldo is the type of player that would fit perfectly into a Pep Guardiola system. I'm not taking anything away from Ronaldo. I'm just stating things as they are. I feel like Pep sometimes is a bit too technical, and I'm not so sure if that would have worked out well with Ronaldo.
Definitely.
But like you were saying, I'm very happy that he's back, at Old Trafford, even though that will mean disaster for a lot of teams, especially us. He will probably score a hat-trick when you face them. But it's good for the Premier League. It's good for football. It's the stuff of dreams. For these great players to go back to the clubs which made their names. We saw it, like you said, with Didier Drogba, with Henry, with quite a number of players. So it's good that Ronaldo, arguably one of the greatest players of all time, deciding to make the switch from Turin back to Manchester. Staying with with Juventus just for a minute, I just want to hear your take for a moment, Adrian. What's your take on Ronaldo's time at Juventus? How would you judge his time on a scale of 1 to 10? With 1 being the lowest and 10 obviously being the highest. How would you rate his time at Juventus? Do you think it was good business on Juventus' part? And do you think that the Ronaldo signing was a success? What's your take?
Well, Junior, we have to look at this in two sides. It wasn't entirely a disaster, but then let's look at it in two sides. Financially, it was a good move for them. It boosted their sales, it boosted their stock. He brought that it factor along with him. More people were watching the Serie A simply because Ronaldo was playing for Juventus, right? Football-wise, we know the mission that they brought him in for. It was simply the Champions League. The thought that he was the talisman, he was the omen that would bring the Champions League for the old lady. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So football-wise, it wasn't a total disaster, but then on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll say it was a 5 out of 10. They did get the Scudetto a couple of times. Unfortunately, they lost his last season. Financially, it seemed like good business. And they even got a fee for him when he left. They did pay a lot of money for him, but then bear in mind the money that he brought into the club and the way that he pushed the brand, the Juventus brand. He was their cover star for a number of years, and he leaves with a decent transfer for someone that's turning 37. Decent money that they made. So financially, I think it was good on Juventus' part. Football-wise, the romance and the fairy tale was just not to be.
Yeah, I agree with most of the things that you said. Financially, I'm not so sure. Yes, I know that their jersey sales went a bit up. Even as far as the TV rights and everything, because it was Ronaldo, obviously. But we also need to take into consideration things such as the salary. He was on massive wages, and if we take a look at Juventus now, the reason why they were selling a lot of players is because they couldn't balance the books, and that's why even when he requested to be sold, they were okay with it, because as far as their finances were concerned, his salaries were taking a huge chunk of those. They were taking off, a big chunk of that salary, the wage bill. Then as far as football is concerned, like you're saying, he was brought in, to get the holy grail as far as the old lady is concerned, which is the Champions League. They last won it when 1996. I'm not so sure. It's been a while now, and they've been winning the Serie A. They've been winning a couple of Scudettos. So, I would like to compare this Ronaldo signing at Juventus to, the Pep Guardiola signing at Bayern Munich. When he came into Bayern Munich, he just basically won everything that they've been winning all along. But all that Bayern had brought him in to do was to dominate in Europe, and he didn't do that. And I feel like that's the same thing with Ronaldo. So, like you're saying, he wasn't a flop. He actually had very good performances, but he didn't deliver what he was brought in to deliver. So I'll give him a decent score of 5 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, so going back to the Premier League, so far, 3 games down, which teams have been looking impressive for you, and which ones have disappointed you, obviously, I know there are quite a number of names which I'm expecting as far as the disappointing teams are concerned. Which ones are the false what can I say, the false favorites?
Well, Junaid, it's too early days, but then definitely we've seen some teams show some glimpses of brilliance. Like we said in the show that we first previewed the Premier League, Chelsea, really, when they got the man in Lukaku, we knew instantly the threat that they would possess. And you saw that against Arsenal. You saw that when they played Liverpool yesterday, even though the game ended with 10 men, but they still played like a team that's that's winning. They have that mentality. It's a team that's you can see that Tuchel has really drilled the unit. So Chelsea, they're really looking threatening. Liverpool, yeah, they're okay, but then I just feel like they could have used one or two signings. Someone they could have brought in someone to spice up their attack, or maybe, or their midfield. Because the thing now with Liverpool is everybody knows how they play, and they know the type of players that they have and what the players will do. Everyone knows that Mo Salah will cut back on to the left side and try on his left and try to bend it around the defense. Yeah, exactly. And you have a person like Mane, he's a complete player, but then we know his game now, and it's even easier for defenses that statistically, is that the right word? Well, that really studied these players day in and day out, especially before a game. They know what he does. They know how he does it. So I think they could have used with one more signing just to spice up their attack. Man City, yeah, like I said, with Liverpool, they could have used the proper number 9. I'm not saying anything's wrong with Gabriel Jesus, but then I just don't see him as a man that could lead you to the promised land. Tottenham, yeah. Listen, it's 3 wins out of 3, right? But then they've just been 1-0 wins. Going forward, if you play against a tricky opponent, maybe like Newcastle or Everton, those guys can go back even deep into the game, So if Tottenham are going to make a mark on this season, they need to start to let the goals flow. Other than that, they seem pretty solid from the back. I've been impressed by Skip and Højbjerg partnership in the mid. But yeah, Arsenal, I wasn't really expecting much from them, so I won't say much. Which other team? I wish Rafa all the best with Everton. I just feel like
is that a decent start as well?
Yeah, is that a decent start? He has decent players too, Richarlison, James Rodriguez, the Ducores. He has a decent squad, and I just hope he has a decent season with Everton. It would be a shame I'm losing him maybe midway. He's one of the great footballing minds in my own opinion. So far, I think that's where I'm at. It's only 3 games in. We're heading into international break. It should be good for teams that have had a poster to reset, teams like Arsenal.
Okay, let me start off by talking about my team, Arsenal. It's been a very disappointing start, not so much as far as the results are concerned, but because I'm looking at the fixture list, I don't think that a lot of people expected much. Probably maybe we expected 3 points from Brentford. We didn't get that. Then we had back-to-back losses again against Chelsea and City, but a lot of people expected that. For me, it's not about the results. It's about the manner in which we played. That's the worrying factor. And I'm beginning to fear for Mikel Arteta now. I don't think that he'll be judged off the defeats against Chelsea and Man City. But this upcoming run of fixtures, those are going to be the deciding factor as far as his future is concerned at the club, But I wasn't really expecting much, like you're saying. I know it sounds like this, but that's the truth. That's how far off we have fallen, as a club. And I don't want to stretch myself. Let's move on. Tottenham, I've been really impressed by your team. You can only beat what's in front of you. I know, you're saying there've only been 1-0 wins, but a win is a win. Whether you win 8-0 or 1-0, you still get 3 points on the board, and you can only beat what's in front of you, like I've said. And so it's been a decent start by you're heading into the international break as the log leaders. Let's see how long you're going to be able to maintain that.
Wouldn't you love us to fall off the pitch soon?
I think you guys have just thrown your name into the hat as far as the top 6 conversation is concerned.
Yeah.
You've given yourself a pretty good chance. I don't think you make top 4 because the other 4 big boys mean business. So let me start talking about those big 4. I feel like the Ronaldo signing is a game changer. In our previous episode, I remember I said that I thought that United were going to win it. I feel like Ronaldo signing now, it's even made a bigger case for them. I feel like it's a game changer. Not so much as far as the football, but mentality wise. He's that type of a player. Every player. Just imagine when they're walking down the tunnel and Greenwood sees Ronaldo. Right in front of him or behind him. He's going to elevate his game because everyone wants to play at their level best, at their very best. When they're playing with Ronaldo. And he scares a lot of defenses. That's the other thing. That's the mental aspect of the game. I feel like it's a game changer. Chelsea are looking impressive as well. Looking back at the match that you mentioned earlier on yesterday, down to 10 men just before halftime, but they managed to dig deep and hold on to their point at Anfield. That's no easy feat. That place is difficult. Anfield at a full capacity crowd, that's very difficult. So Chelsea looking pretty impressive, and that defense, last season, if I heard correctly, they had 32 clean sheets in all competitions. That's really, really impressive, and that defense is going to be problematic. Manchester City, we all feel like they should have signed a striker, but hey, it's a quality side. They still managed to put 5 past us, playing with the false 9 and Ferran Torres. That's how good the squad is. But I feel like, they just needed someone else. Liverpool as well, like you mentioned earlier on, I feel like they needed a signing or two that would, offer something different. Because like you mentioned earlier on, Liverpool have become a bit, predictable. I feel like if you are well organized, you can get your point. Just like we saw yesterday when Chelsea were down to 10 men. So I feel like the Ronaldo signing is a game changer, and United is theirs to lose. Not as far as the points are concerned at the moment, because it's still early days. But I feel like most of the things are in place. If they were to sign a midfielder in the, these few days remaining before the transfer window shuts, that would be it for me.
Okay. Definitely. So we're heading into the international break, and we've had the Premier League come out and say that some players won't be allowed to travel because of their countries are in the red country list. What's your take on that, and what do you think is a sustainable future for international football, especially in the time of COVID? And if ever we have a pandemic like this one, what do you think is the sustainable way to balance the two? Because obviously, let's say for players like Christian Romero and Giovanni Lo Celso, they've just won the Copa America with Argentina. They're going into the World Cup. They want to keep that momentum going. And the EPO is saying you can't go. If you do go, you have to come back and qualify for 10 days.
For 10 days.
So what's your take on that? Because there needs to be a balance. Where do you see this going?
I feel like it's a tough one. It's a double-edged sword in my opinion. I can see why the Premier League is doing that, because I feel like they don't want to disrupt, the progress that they don't want to undo the progress that they've already made. They've made huge strides in as far as, being able to bring back, football, being able to bring back the fans as well, So I think these are just measures, that they pretty much show how far we've come as far as the pandemic is concerned. There's still a long way to go. So I feel like yes, the other players, they might feel a bit hard done by especially the Emi Martinez's and the Tottenham boys and Christian Romero. Giovanni Lo Celso, and the other players from the red listed countries. They might feel a bit hard done by, but it is what it is. I understand where the Premier League is coming from, but in the long term, I think they need to come up with a better plan. But if my information is correctly, I think the UK has been the red list. They've been removing a lot of countries from the red list. So hopefully, by the time we get to the second international break, things will be better, because it's not really sustainable, like you said. Because in January, if I have my dates correctly, I think we should be heading into the Africa Cup of Nations.
Yes.
And what's going to happen as far as a lot of players are concerned if they decide to keep this model. So we'll see. I do understand where they're coming from, but it's not really sustainable. Okay. What do you think?
It's a difficult one for me, because I do have a soft spot for international football. I feel like each player, in as much as club football pays and puts bread on their tables, patriotism and the ultimate goal for a player should be to play for your own country at any given time. I remember in relation to countries, especially in Africa, we would have our heroes that play maybe in Europe or the better leagues. These guys would, in the past, they would charter flights for themselves, not held by the association or anything. They would charter flights for themselves and come back and help their country. It's purely a question of patriotism. Now, if that's right, or if that option is taken away from them, what are we saying to the crop of younger footballers that we're grooming? Are we saying that international football has no place in the modern game, or it has to take a back seat simply for the fact that, one, it doesn't pay as much, two, it doesn't bring as much revenue to all parties involved? And you see, so we have to set a precedent where there's a balance between club football and international football. I feel like FIFA can do a lot in trying to ensure the safety of these players while they go on international duty, in as much as the associations, the respective associations, have to take care of their players. I feel like FIFA, especially with the pandemic going on, they have to do a lot. And like you're saying, in January, that we're going to have the Africa Cup of Nations. We have big names like Mo Salah, Sadio Mane,
Thomas Partey,
Ismail Sarr, and Marvelous Nakamba, our very own,
Mendy.
Yes.
The list is long.
The list is long. So are we going to say, and those national teams would look up to players like this to provide quality, and to even the AFCON organizers, they'll look to star players to offer quality. And if this, I feel like if these star players are involved, there's even better revenue for all countries involved, So we'll need a sustainable plan, like you said, especially going forward. But I feel like they've slacked because they knew that the international break was coming up. If they really wanted the players to be released, they could have come up with a way. That's my 2 cents on the issue. So, Junior, moving on, let's look at the recently concluded Champions League draw. It's going to be a new season of Champions League. Are you excited about that?
To be honest, I'm not really excited because my team hasn't been playing in the Champions League for a while now.
It doesn't have to be about your team all the time.
I know it's not all about Arsenal, but the nation as one of those. And looking at the groups, I didn't really pay too much attention at the group, to the groups, but most of them are a bit underwhelming. I think Group A is the one which is really a bit more interesting, with PSG and Man City.
Right. Most of them, cool. Let me, on that note, let me just give a rundown of the groups for the cases of our viewers that didn't have a chance to see the draw or see the groups. Group A has Club Brugge, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and RB Leipzig. Group B has AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, and Porto. Group C is Ajax, Besiktas, Dortmund, and Sporting Lisbon. Group D has Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff. Group E has Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Benfica, and Dynamo Kiev. Group F has Atalanta, Man United, Villarreal, Young Boys. Group G has Lille. No, Leo. Is it Leo? I don't know. Leo. RB Salzburg.
I think it's Leo.
Leo, Sevilla, and Wolfsburg. And rounding off the groups is Group H, where we have Chelsea, the current champions, the defending champions, Juventus, Malmo, and Zenit St. Petersburg. Looking at those groups, I like you said, Group A. What's your reaction? I think that's one of the biggest groups with the biggest matchup possibly with PSG led by Pochettino and Messi, Neymar and Mbappe versus Man City with Pep.
It's an interesting group. I wouldn't say it's a tough one because I expect Man City and PSG to pull through.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think PSG will probably top that group. Then Man City will be second. That will be 1 and 2 as far as that group is concerned. Then I just want to touch on the Man United group. I feel like that's the group of it. I think that's a really, really interesting group. There's Man United, Villarreal, Atlanta. The fourth team is what?
Young Boys.
Young Boys. Okay. So that those three teams, I feel like it's a really interesting group because Atlanta can really play ball. There's what ballers. Man United, I can't really say much about that team. It's a good team. Ronaldo now with the experience, with the know-how, they've added Ronaldo and Varane, players who've won multiple Champions Leagues, over the past couple of years. Yeah. So I think those players will be able to pull through United, and drag the squad. And I expect United to have a really deep run as far as the Champions League is concerned. Other than that, most of I think they're pretty straightforward. I expect Liverpool and Atletico Madrid to pull through in their group as well. Then the Barcelona and Bayern group, I think it's a decent group. Barcelona is on the decline. I think they're trying to rebuild as well. It's probably a terrible time to be in the same group as Bayern Munich, playing two legs with such a good team, So, but I expect Bayern and Barcelona to pull through. And I feel like those are the groups that I've mentioned. I feel like those are the only interesting groups. Inter Milan and Real Madrid, the group would have been interesting last season. But Inter Milan, with the changes that are there now, with Antonio Conte leaving, Lukaku, Hakimi leaving as well, they're not as strong as they were last season. So I think that one will be relatively easy for Real Madrid. What's your take?
I have to agree with you on this one. It's some of the groups are balanced. They have a good system of points where they grade the teams according to where they finish in their league. So yeah, like you said, Group A and Group B could offer some potential crackers of games, going forward. But then I think it will get interesting when we reach the round of 16. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. But definitely it's a good draw. Who enjoy the football will definitely follow it throughout the group stages. But yeah, some pretty good matchups. Like you said, Man City and PSG, everyone wants to watch that. We want to see what Messi brings to PSG, because most people, I feel like they'll watch Messi when he plays for PSG in the Champions League. I'm not sure many people would take time out of their day to watch Ligue 1. But if there are those that do, they would have a better understanding of Messi at PSG. But then this is the chance for the layman to watch Messi in the PSG shirt.
Yeah, that's true. So before we conclude, Adrian, sorry to bring back on Premier League issues. Yesterday, we witnessed a somewhat controversial moment, in the Chelsea-Liverpool game, particularly the REECE James incident, the penalty and red card. What's your take? Was that a red card? Was it a penalty? What's your take?
In my book, it's a red card on any given day. I would like to interpret it as a denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. If Reece James did at the end of the ball, that was a goal. And let's take it back to 2010 World Cup when Suarez did the exact same thing, end of the ball on the line. I'm not saying it's the same magnitude of the game or he had the same intention as Suarez did at that time, but then it's the same interpretation that I'm applying here. Although he did hit the thigh first, but still it did deny them a clear goal scoring opportunity. So in my book, it's a penalty and a red card.
Yeah, I can only agree with you 100% spot on. I know the Chelsea faithful has been saying, oh, Anthony Taylor, this, he doesn't like us. But according to the rule book, Anthony Taylor got it spot on. If you deny a goal scoring opportunity, especially if the ball is heading, especially if the ball is goal bound, it can only be a red. Yes, we know that it first came off his thigh, then went on to his hand. But if you look at, his arm action, there was a little bit of intent, although somewhat unlucky.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it was deserving of a red card. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe people will chip in the conversation. Please tell us in the comment section what you think about that red card that Reece James received when Liverpool faced Chelsea. And as always, please follow us on all our social media pages. The First Two Show 2 on Twitter and the First Two Show on Instagram. And don't forget to join our Fantasy Premier League. I haven't been checking because I've had a couple of bad rounds. I only had a good first round. After that, everything has been going to decline. But then, let's just join to keep the conversation going and to interact with everyone that's a lover of football, basically. Junior, anything to add before we conclude?
I only wanted to talk about the fantasy league. I just wanted to ask you how your team has been doing. Has it been on drip as always? But you've already mentioned that you've struggled. Yeah, but that's the normal with you as far as fantasy league is concerned.
Anyway, that's where you can get your reprieve as an Arsenal fan. But on that note, it's always a pleasure, my brother. Until next time.
Good one, Adrian. Cheers.
Hometown chilling.